Welcome everybody to Dive Bar of DeMOCKracy. That's M-O-C-K. It's Friday night and we're doing it right. Welcome to easily one of the most random internet shows you'll come across. We're gonna have 3 topics. We're gonna have a guest panel. We don't know who's gonna be on it. We don't know what our topics are gonna be. We don't know who our host or hostess is gonna be. The only thing we know is there's only one way that we do it, and that's the fuck 'em fam way. Are you all ready to meet the gang?
I hope so.
Oh, shit. The week has been absolutely fantastic in the world of politics. We continue seeing the bump from the DNC. We didn't have a show post DNC because I think a lot of us there were some of you that were actually coming back from the DNC, and there's just several of us that, for lack of better words, we were just like, we need sort of a break because it's been an emotional roller coaster, for lack of better words, for the last 6 weeks. And I think that after that DNC, it was just such a culmination of everything, and there was just so much joy. And all of us, we were all kind of banded together, wiping stuff away from our eyes because we actually have hope again. And I don't know about y'all, but I was just drained. It felt like I went to the DNC.
Yeah, I was tired. I just didn't want to talk, and I just didn't want to talk about anything or any,
It was like political Burning Man.
Yeah.
We all lived it via live stream. It was hilarious.
We're all still coming down. Yeah.
Well, especially after that delegate roll call, like that was such a historical moment that it was like, okay, like
that was pretty epic.
Yeah, it's like all of my dopamine levels were burnt the fuck out. I've just been on this no, I was gonna say hopium, but MAGA's been on the copium, but you went to the DNC, Derek. How was that?
Real.
Well, we didn't go directly to DNC, but we were north of it in the chain of Fox Lakes, and it was good. I mean, we had a watch party. People showed up, and people were ready to do stuff in their own communities.
Man, it's really cool to, when you see footage of, Walls going into the call center when no one's expecting it, and he's hooking up people with cookies and whatnot. When it's great because if you watch if you watch any of the MAGA rallies that are recent, they're trying to do the same. They're like, okay, we need to get it out. We need to knock on doors and we need to make phone calls. And everybody in the audience is not going to do that shit because they're so self-serving that they're like, no, we're just going to not do that. And then when Harris wins the election, we're just going to say it was rigged.
It's worse than that, though, isn't it? When you think about it, because Waltz is turning up with cookies and everything else, but when Trump did his appearance, he turned up with empty pizza boxes. Yeah. He comes in and he's like, "Yay!" Yeah. And it was empty. If it had been a real pizza, it would have been smushed on the top of that box.
Oh, Daisy, you're screwing up my screen.
No.
Hi, Daisy. She's so cute.
It's been puppy night for everybody tonight so far.
Yeah, it's pet night. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, it's her time to be on my lap, so she's not too understanding.
Custody.
She wants her cameo.
Custody of your lap.
I guess I'll have to go get Come here, Copper.
She's so cute.
No.
She is a cutie.
Can I borrow her? Or
like a Jack Russell?
Yep.
I don't know what she is. She's she's kind of like a mix of like a Jack Russell, a Chihuahua, and like the Target bulldog, because she has like the circle around her eye. You probably can't see it on camera because it's more towards me, but I'm dying to.
Looks like it's pet night tonight. If
Yes.
you don't have one, kids, just go borrow your neighbors.
Yeah. But we've kind of acquired her, so we don't know anything about her history or where she came from. But I'm kind of wanting to buy those doggy DNA tests, and I'm really curious. I mean, I don't care what she is. I just like because she's got so many like different features of different breeds. Like what are your
cute.
secrets? Tell
Aww.
What are your
Tony
Tony's
secrets?
secrets.
Tony Phony's up.
What's the
Tony
secret
Phony's up in
sauce?
you.
Oh yeah, pet
Oh,
night.
is that how it is?
Welcome to
Oh.
Dog Bar of Democracy.
There we
Yes.
go.
Daisy, look. Can you see
You
it?
know- Do you know who can't do what
What's
we're
that?
doing right now? Donald Trump can't do this because he doesn't have any pets.
No.
We're friends.
He's not a nice person.
He has JD Vance. Does that count?
Christy,
The
no,
pets?
can't do it either.
Well, I mean, I guess JD Vance is sort of a dog. They both hump the furniture, but
Oh, sick bird.
No, that's not true. Remember, the correct term is sexual. He's sexual.
Yeah, definitely.
sofa
bird.
sectional. Yeah.
So far,
Fucking
so
gross.
good.
Sofa sexual. You heard it here.
You need to leave Delilah Davenport out of this, okay?
Nice.
Dude, it's so funny.
Contraception is like that plastic cover that grandma used to put on her furniture.
Yeah. The doilies are
God.
lingerie.
No, yeah, no.
Lord.
Hey, Daisy, why don't we lay down?
You have to teach kids how to practice safe sectional. Yeah.
Safe
At
set.
the end of the
That's
DNC with all the
Sectional healing.
cope at the end, and then ending with Trump live tweeting her speech, like 43 posts in less than an hour,
Yeah.
was the cherry on top. Because
Dude,
I
I
was
post
grabbing
social
the-
media all day and I've never posted that much. And I do it because I want to.
He's such a psycho.
Yes, he is.
God.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
And
Right.
people
You'd
think
never let a
that's
family
Psycho
genius.
poster.
I mean, fact of the matter
And I
remains is that
couldn't
she
believe
crushed it.
Yes, you did.
There's a lot of people on
Oh.
the ultra left side that are saying that her policies are adopting Republican policies, like for example, like being more strict on immigration and that kind of thing. And it's like she's just trying to rock the bipartisan bill that was put through, but we all know why that died. And for her
Yeah.
to actually say that on live national television, that was just
Yeah.
it needed said so badly and the entire world was tuned in, and they're like, oh, so he wants to make the border a problem but doesn't want to fix it. And how many people who aren't privy to the ins and outs of to the ins and outs of congressional workings like we are, because we're political junkies. They don't know that. They just know that Harris is the border czar, and that's all they know. So when she was on there and she's like, no, I mean, there was a bill and they killed it because they want to be able to just run on the chaos. Then,
I would say I'm more political curious.
You're knowledgeable than most of the country, because even just at your curiosity level, it's still like a lot more than
yeah,
most of the country.
All day long, totally.
Yeah, we are junkies. It's all right though.
You guys are spreading
Notorious.
information, like truthful information, and people need to get on board with that, because I don't know if it's crazy rednecks with computers or Russian spies or something, but there's a lot of misinformation going around, and we really need to hit it head on.
I agree
They're
completely.
redneck Russian spies. They're redneck
It's easy
Russian
to tell
spies.
some of Trump's misinformation. Every time he's lying, he has some call signs.
Just
One
look
of
for
them
the
is,
accordion hands.
Sir.
Yeah, the other one's the accordion.
Listen, sir.
Like,
I want to be done talking about this. I want it to be over.
It is.
It
Yeah.
will be really,
Too. It's
really
like an
nice to
abusive
put that shit in
relationship. Like you want to break up with him and you can't.
I'm
Yeah, that's
saving
right.
money.
Can you come and say that?
Yeah,
I'm
Didn't say
saving
it was
money
like
just
the
in case he
boyfriend.
gets elected. Like I'm gonna get the fuck out of the country.
Well,
Like,
he's already
we
said he
shouldn't
wants
have
to
to be
fly to
thinking this.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Remember?
And unfortunately, it's not going to be like, even if Kamala wins, it's not over. Even when she's inaugurated, it's not like, this is a perpetual fight for, I mean, a full on fight, because they're going to be trying in 28, 32. Like, MAGA doesn't go away. Like,
no.
you know,
They're threatening violence regardless. If Trump wins or loses, there's still going to be some kind of violence, either hate crimes or like a full-on attack, like January 6th. But this time they're going to bring guns and shit, and it's going to get really bad. And people need to be ready for that.
See, the thing is they're gonna want to try to boogaloo, and Dark Brandon is in office, and he's gonna clap that ass, and they're gonna act like they're gonna play victim, obviously, because that's just kind of like what they do. But I guarantee that there is, for lack of a better word, surveillance being done on certain websites when certain people talk about organizing to do certain things. And they think they're slick until all of a sudden they get a knock at the door.
It won't just be at the Capitol, though. Not this time.
No.
Like, I think they're planning a lot of things. Like, they were hitting power stations a while back.
Yeah, they were trying to do that. Yeah,
I think they're going to be like motivated from watching or reading The Handmaid's Tale about how they just showed up into like the Senate and the Congress and just shot everybody up, thinking like that would give them full control.
Yeah, because they had to use the idea of, if you was to literally go by the legal rules of government control, if the president is assassinated, then the vice president takes over.
Yeah.
And then if anything happens to her, it's Mike Johnson, right? Speaker of the House.
Oh, la.
That's gross.
Don't say that. The preacher of the house.
The wiener
Mike
of the
Johnson.
house.
You're Johnson. Everybody's Johnson. Mike Johnson.
Micro Johnson.
Micro Johnson alongside Kotex Ritter.
Did you catch that little bit about the Arlington thing? If that's a segment you want to cover later, I won't mention it now. But
well, actually, that brings us up to we need to actually reach into the chopper hopper tonight, and we need to go ahead and see who our main host or hostess is going to be for tonight. Oh, hell. Looks like it's our mighty librarian.
Yeah, yay. I have an overall theme for today.
Nice. She comes prepared.
It's just... Well, no,
what's
I
that
was
then?
just like...
Precious.
I was just like, looking at my phone, like, just to, like, remember, key things I wanted to talk about. And I'm just like, wow, the main theme to all of this is MAGA sucks. Just because...
I mean, you rounded that right up.
Because unnecessary.
I agree. Case closed. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.
Yep. Show's over.
Like, I don't know if it's their just sheer hypocrisy or stupidity, or like not like being able to critically think. They're just like, my brain hurts after, like, okay, I don't know. So anyway, since you brought up Arlington, I know it's been talked about a lot. We talked about Producer's Corner, and Tony touched on it. But one thing I did not realize, and I gave Skip a picture picture, one of the pictures that came out of that was I didn't realize. Oh, dogs, don't do this to me. Stop. I didn't realize how disrespectful not just Trump was and his little, like, cast of minions, but like the family he was with. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you have a dead child there, and you're all standing on the graves of other sons, daughters, friends, cousins, brothers, sisters, whoever, and the audacity. Just like, forget about Trump. Like, expect that from him. But from a Gold Star family, come the fuck on. And then I say, no, you know what? Like, all right, so now I kind of expect that from the family, not really knowing how sacred Arlington is. Trump was the commander in fucking chief. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, do you like? I know you all understand this, and I'm just like, but like, the ridiculousness of the family, and then the poor woman that they assaulted. Rosie, we're gonna have issues if you don't stop. That's Rosie, the big chocolate lab.
Oh, I thought that was you repeating what they said to the person at Arlington. Sorry.
You know what? That's the fair point. It very well might be what they said, but like, how do you like? Like, I bet those dudes, like Trump himself, is a big dude. His minions are big dudes. Not necessarily muscular big. Just big. And you're gonna pick on a woman telling you that it's a sacred space, stop doing it. And you were once the commander in chief. You're trying to be the commander in chief again, and you have no idea or care of the ground that you're on. Like, what's wrong with you?
Okay.
Like,
can you do a straw poll right now? Hands up, everybody who doesn't know that a cemetery is a private kind of sacred space. If you don't know that, put your hand up. Okay, I see no hands. So what was his problem? Just because he wanted to put his wife on a golf course when she died doesn't mean to say that the rest of us hold the same views on the sacred, or how should we say? No, can't really say it any better than that. But it's it's an unwritten rule. We all know this. You don't trample on dead people. You don't ignore grave sites. So you don't use them. And he's standing there like this. This is the bit that really gets me. This one.
And the family is all up on other people's graves. Like, they're at a barbecue, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, my dead child is under my feet. I feel like posing with the president. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
and since we know that when he was responsible for signing the Afghan withdrawal, he allowed 5,000 bloodthirsty terrorists out of jail who swept across the country, I think he maybe had a hand in the death of those people. Through standing there like political opportunity. I would easily have done that, right? He could have stood there, bowed his head, comforted the family, but he didn't. He went full-blown chicken nuggets.
He could have done in front of the grave. He could have been standing there and had somebody with a long, like, what do you call those? Those like telephoto lenses that can go long range, and getting a silhouette of him staring at the grave, and that would have been, while off-putting to many. Right. At least it's not, like.
Well, the most insulting part.
To pull this stuff.
He broke the law.
Reminds me. What it reminds me of is the worst footage that we ever seen of people overseas when they were in Iraq and exhibiting the worst behaviour, standing over the corpse of somebody else and smiling and grinning. And while we understand that, they're in the heat of battle and they're vanquishing an enemy, there are kind of rules that say, be glad you won, but don't gloat too much. Come on, guys. And that stuff was beyond the pale, and it was. How's the best way to say it? It was below the standards of conduct expected of a service member. And if that was the case, then this should be below the standards of conduct expected of a president or a former
I feel
president.
like he's offensive on like he wants to be offensive on everything that we hold dear and true, and that's why he's so disgusting.
Well, he genuinely wants to show that rules just don't apply to him, and that he does. That he knows that he has an entire ilk that will go to bat for him. Like, do you see the gaslighting that JD Vance is trying to do about it? Like, where he's instantly has to try to deflect to his lie about Tim Walz when confronted about this. I'm just it's really it's really telling without them wanting to be telling, because there's going to get to a point, especially with MAGA, is the doubling down is just, it's going to get to where there's nowhere else to double down to. And that's when, they're going to probably have their mass narcissistic collapse and try to start some shit. And like I said, and Brandon's going to clap that ass. Like, plain and simple.
But that's one of the hallmarks of them, right? They do this.
I honestly think that Trump definitely knew the rules, or whoever set that stunt up knew the rules. They wanted that confrontation. They wanted to play victim.
Yes. It's another boundary to push, another law to break and not get in trouble.
Yeah. I have to assume, though, that if the situation was reversed and it was a Democrat candidate who was involved in that, someone would be saying, no, this isn't right, and they would be listening. I think that's
There's your key right there.
The defining, the contrast between the two ideologies is, well, at least we hope, right, is if that someone is told that something is wrong or something is bad, we have the presence of mind to actually acknowledge it. And for the sake of common decency, we kind of tone it down, step back, and we think about it. I hope that's the contrast between decent people and Democrats versus MAGA. And if we find ourselves acting that way, we should really start asking some questions.
How many people here have actually been to Arlington?
Me.
I have.
I have not.
I've been there twice.
Okay, so three of us.
Senior dissertation on Arlington.
Of course you did.
So when you go there, like, you'll understand. You understand right when you step on. This is sacred, right? Like, you get that feeling walking on there. I know I did. It's just, yeah. And he doesn't.
Signs for
what kind of entitlement does he have? Yeah.
Well,
there's signs for the special kids who don't understand that. If, like, if you don't know how to act, they even tell you how to act. Like, it's a freaking cemetery. Like, even though a lot of tourists go there, it's still a cemetery. Like,
just as a contrast, right? I seen all those signs, and the only thing I thought, please don't hate me for saying this, was coffee hot. These were the signs that told dumb people, this is a cemetery, it's a sacred place. You don't run up and down on the grass, you don't do stupid stuff, you don't do this, that, or the other thing. Now, we have some of that back home, but this, to me, when I seen him standing there with the family, it was like some idiot kid running around and trying to kick down headstones and having himself a great time because he's discovered this great place to just, kick off. And that's really what it led me to. And if people don't see something wrong with that, then they're pretty much cut from the same cloth.
It's his indifference.
Well, it's like anything, isn't it? It's like you have a respect for the dead, you have a respect for the buried dead. You also have respect around a situation where someone is dying. You don't want to interfere with that.
Yeah.
Play on it, take advantage of it, do any of that kind of stuff. You respect people's grieving. You allow them time to process things. And if it comes to a funerary visit, you don't make yourself the center of attention either, do you? That's the one
No.
thing that I really hated. Those families were there to pay their respects to their family member, and he's right in the middle going, "Ain't I brilliant? Aren't I great?"
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty much as bad as if he went to Auschwitz and stood in front of the ovens. Like, who would do that?
I hope that one day, like, you know, in later Freddy Krueger movies, they won't say his name because it'll conjure him back up. I hope that Dump is like that one day, and his name is forbidden, and we can't ever say it again.
Like Voldemort.
Yeah.
That dude could fuck all the way off. I think most Americans, if he just disappeared, wouldn't even care. We'd be like, okay, he's gone.
I'd be like,
bye. Like, oh, I don't care if he goes to jail. I don't care. Just go.
The thing I always remember is that he exposed to me how many horrible people I knew and hung out with just because we wore the same band shirts.
Yep.
Ouch. But yeah.
That was the real stinger when I realized that a lot of the people I played music for were really not good people. And
a family like that.
You know, I mean, I'm not a gambling person. I'm not really really lucky when it comes to that, but I'm willing to bet a healthy amount of money that Trump is the only person in Arlington that's ever stood over a gravestone and gave a thumbs up in a photo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you probably won't find that anywhere else.
Probably some like Georgetown frat boys who did it, but yeah. No other president.
Back home, if someone did something as crass as that, they would be called out right away. It can happen. We've got idiots who will wreck a place. That's why I gave that example. But more often than not, anybody catches them doing it. And I'm sure it's the same for you, Terp. If you found somebody mucking around in a cemetery up there, you would call them out for it too.
I would see that if there was no one else around to say what needed to be said,
yeah,
I will say it. If someone doesn't realize, I'll just remind them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be that guy. If no one else is around to be that guy, I will be that guy.
We got to realize the army actually put out a statement contradictory to Donald Trump's, literally opposite, admitting what happened.
And Chris LaCivita attacks the military
charges because they're afraid for their life.
Yeah,
they're afraid of the cult.
And
I think
you
it's
know
also
that
telling how we feel about it that we spent so much time on it.
Well, that really reminds me of
Everybody
the
is very
short that we saw of the gal who's wearing the Harris Walls shirt, and somebody was like, "Man, you're really brave for wearing that." And she's like, "I know. Isn't that sad that your side is so violent and unhinged that I can't wear a shirt without having to worry about my public safety?" And that's the thing about this Arlington employee. They were just doing their job. And it doesn't matter because you showed some sort of, I don't know, defiance to their God King, then instantly, I guess you just get labeled a commie. Is that how that works now? Like, last I checked, like the moment that you do anything that's like might be construed as a slight offense towards Trump, you're just labeled a commie, even though you're a veteran.
I don't think they know what that word means.
It just reminds me of that McBain from The Simpsons. He's like,
regularly interchanges calling her a commie, calling her a Marxist, calling her a fascist. They just throw everything at the wall, just like everything else.
Because they're fucking
Rachel,
weird.
you need to be more specific there. There's a lot
They're like
of words.
pro neo-Nazis and stuff, and they have the nerve to call other people fascists.
If we were fascists, they'd like us.
Skills, so they don't see the argument.
That's a good point. Yep.
I mean, it's like I said earlier, like it's the McBain from The Simpsons, like we're under attack by commie Nazis. Okay.
Shuby in the
like-
chat says. Shuby in the chat says Don Jr. says Bolsheviks all the time.
Yeah, it's that's totally dog whistling. If you look at the words cultural Bolshevism that was used in the 1930s to describe the the apparent takeover of anything that was mainstream culture by Jewish influence, and they just called it Bolshevism or cultural Bolshevism, but now they use cultural Marxism because Marxist is just another word for Jewish.
Yep.
The dog
We
whistles
love
are
to bring
crazy.
that up. And shout out to the chat, everybody hanging out in the Twitch chat. So
Yeah, hey,
Triple,
everyone.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Amethyst, Benny, Lala, Shuby, Vix, Farmley. Everybody's been hanging out in there.
We got a full house tonight.
They are hanging
Mhm.
out in there, yeah.
The Misfits are in the house.
And if you're watching and not chatting, please text. We'll say hi. We'll give you a shout out. Ask any questions in there.
Yep.
You know, I like.
Let's go.
Yeah, going along with the theme of MAGA sucks. Let me get my little.
They're fucking Nazis.
Yes, they are. So,
Do not come.
yeah, do not come. So, book bans are still a thing, but
Oh, boy.
Ron DeSantis is getting sued by many book publishers who are like, "You're banning our books, and we don't appreciate that. That's against the First Amendment." Who would
Wow.
think? They're also getting sued. This isn't in the story I was reading, but I just know it because I'm a mighty librarian. But there are library advocacy groups, like every library, who's suing lots of different states for lots of different book banning measures. Surprisingly, Gottfried's state of Colorado is moving forward with plans to require teachers to remove books with sensitive content from classroom libraries. And they're also considering banning classroom libraries altogether. This is in Elizabeth, Colorado. And let me quote the president of that school board. If you want your kids to have access to materials, you can go to Amazon. Not every parent can afford to buy every book. That's why they go to libraries. Or even kids can't. Sometimes parents can't even drive their kid to the public library. But the quote continues: "You can go to the thrift store. You can go to the public library, get it for your child. We are an educational institution. We are not a public library." Actually, you are.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But
If
there's
you're
a
a public
reason why
school, you're a
schools.
public library.
Yeah.
The library in my
mean-
high school was part of the public library system of Eastern Colorado. Like you
Yeah,
could
a
get
lot
books from
of
other
schools are
libraries
like
sent
that.
there.
Yeah, a lot of schools.
And again, if you finish your thought, but again, this rolls into this is where these two things can be one, and you can make the public library part of the schools. You have more public libraries. It solves a couple different problems.
Yeah, well, yeah, and every state, every county treats their public and libraries and school libraries a little differently. Like even I work at a university library, but it's still technically a public library because it's a public institution. So like if somebody from the public wants to use a computer or wants to, they can't check out materials, but they can come and look at them, while we're open. So like, we're still a public library, even though we're not a public library. So it's just the absurdity, like how privileged you are to think that, oh, well, we don't need to carry. You can buy it for your kid, or they can go to the public library. Know that not all kids have that luxury. First of all, you want to close the public libraries to when kids can't necessarily go after school or when their parents get off of work. And then even on weekends, a lot of times libraries have to close on weekends because they can't afford to run or be open on the weekend. So like, quit it, lady. Just quit it. And I bet you those sensitive books, I'm sure they have like, some of the LGBTQ themes, but I bet you something about Rosa Parks or racism or heaven forbid talking about like sexual education, just clinically talking about it. Heaven forbid they learn about like boobs and vaginas and penises. Like,
well, anybody that
so
wants to erase the past is because they intend on repeating it. And I think we've said that before here on this program, because they're making it that blatantly obvious. And especially that they're going to use we got Vought on camera saying that they're going to use the idea of trans people being around children to label trans people as pornographers and sexual offenders, when that means that in Florida they can then be put to death legally. This is the books are more nefarious part of the program than you actually realize, just due to the fact that it's the smoke screen that they can continually use, starting with books. And anybody that us who defends books can instantly be labeled as pornographers and
or supporters of.
And it's really, really disgusting, because we know their plans, but then at the same time, I mean, why is it that hashtag not a drag queen looks like a MAGA rally?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The irony washes off them.
Irony's a funny thing, isn't it?
A little bit.
I think what we need to make sure we do, that when this nightmare is maybe not necessarily over, but there will come a point where people, especially politicians, well-known politicians, are going to start trying to whitewash their past with MAGA and Trump. And we have to make sure that stink stays on them for the rest of their days.
Yep.
So they can't try to rewrite, and then when they're long gone and their family tries to repair their legacy, nope.
I agree with that. I've often said that when these people go on television, when they have said stupid things and made stupid decisions, every time they're in there for an interview, they should always be introduced by the stupid things they've said before they even get a chance to speak about anything. Because there's so many wonderful career politicians who choose to stay out of the spotlight, who can think clearly, cogently, and speak with a degree of morality or, shared sentiment and principle on things. Yeah. And they don't get the airtime. Okay. You get all these morons who go in there and say the dumbest things all the time, and they're allowed to do it. And so, I think that every time they get brought in, when Lindsey Graham's brought on, he should be referred to as the flip-flopping suck-up. When Ted Cruz is brought on, he should be referred to by the guy who tried to engineer legal challenges to overturn the election. Oh, and he was caught in recording.
When
all
Lord
these things
Boebert gets introduced, he should be called the theater jacker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Handy Bendy Boebert.
Yep.
Reach out and touch someone.
I looked up the town that was doing that. It's a tiny little town in Boebert's new district, the one she's going to be in. after the election. It's like 2,500 people, so it's a tiny little town. And I mean, they're going to do this, but how's that going to affect the people in their town, like the kids that go to that high school, and get a subpar education? How's that going to affect where they go after that?
I
mean,
think that matters to
they don't give a
Republicans.
fuck.
They just want your kids
I
working
can tell
for
you
their
where
kids.
they're going to go. They're going to go to Trump University. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
that's shut down.
Well, maybe that's what they want. Maybe they don't want them to be able to go off and go to college and leave that town.
They absolutely don't. They want to stupefy the nation so that when they try this bullshit 20 years from now, 30 years from now, we're too smart. There's too many smart people. And by smart, I don't necessarily mean like, smart, just recognize fascism, because we were taught about fascism in school and we were taught critical thinking. There's too many Americans who have picked up on it and called it out. And we might have not nipped MAGA in the bud when it started, but we're trying to nip it in the bud now. And you give it one dumb generation later and they'll have it.
They are. They're very persistent in their attack about education actually being indoctrination, when what they are projecting is actually what they want is indoctrination and not education. They
want conditioning and fear and hate.
Absolutely, but they most importantly to enable a very simple implementation of that system down the track. It's going to be easier if you have a population that is far less able to think critically. So when presented with this nightmare dystopian possibility, they will opt for self-preservation.
Well, this leads me to the safety school for those who weren't able to make it into Trump University, and that's PragerU. And the thing about PragerU is that they are the masters of projection when they talk about that they don't want kids indoctrinated, whereas like they literally have like the guides to President Trump. Like it's almost like a coloring book, and it talks about how
while they're
it's literally like right on par with like North Korean propaganda.
Well, you think as well about the way that they handled that recruitment drive for the 11,000 people who were going to be Project 2025 transplants and stooges to replace the people that they were going to sack in government. Every one of those was supposed to sit through an intensive training session and get their certification or whatever to show that they were ready and able to implement whatever policies came down to them. But it was propaganda. All the videos, propaganda. No leadership training, no skills training. Yep.
That was sitting through those shit videos, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The propaganda
that was the training. Sitting through those shit videos. God.
Yeah, video one. Sorry, Alison.
I put a link to the playlist of ProPublica of the leaked training videos on the Stop Project 2025 link tree.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really creepy. They are really creepy, and I watched a lot. I watched most of them, so you didn't have to. It's creepy. Like it's just like, well, like what did you not get enough hugs as a kid? Like you know you're full of shit.
Or
like,
too many.
It's all like like it's to a person who's not as versed in politics though. It doesn't seem as bad as it actually is. Like that's what they were like. That's what's like really the worst part about it is that it's I fear that people won't see how terrible it actually is because like it's in that flowery language.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what they've been doing.
That
If you
makes
ever
sense.
noticed when they were talking about it, every time you pointed out the things that were really sinister and really creepy and could be abused, they would turn around and give you a complete counter narrative of points. Oh no, that's not what it means at all. It means this. Yeah, but what about the other 300 words in that paragraph? What did they allow you to do?
Oh, those are just taken out of context. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's just taken out of context, John. You need to understand that,
When
okay?
you say government
Every time.
we read it as firing 11,000 civil servants.
And what they don't realize is that, like, okay, so let's say, God forbid, they get what they want. That's not making America great again. Like, America is not going to prosper with a dumb nation. That was the whole point of educating the masses, was if everybody is educated, then we can do more. We can be more.
It lifts everyone.
It lifts everybody.
We will be better.
I mean, why do you think that there were anti-fascist films into the
MAGA
80s?
as they are. Yeah, like my parents aren't MAGA, but they're Trump supporters, so that's MAGA enough for me. But like, what's so odd about them is education was everything in my family. Everything. Like, they bought the house that they could barely afford in the school district that they wanted me to go to because it was one of the best school districts in New York. And like, looking back on it, it was well ahead of its time. Like, I didn't appreciate it at the time, but now I do. Because it was so well ahead of its time for the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, but now they don't appreciate it because now they're on the other side.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, Long Island MAGA is a little different than like Southern MAGA, but it's just like education is just. I know how important education is, and we're just going to stagnate. I mean, in Idaho, they can't teach. I think it's either Idaho or North Dakota that you cannot teach science that's not already established. So, like, I mean, technically gravity is a theory. Like, I mean, so how established are we talking about? Because there's lots of things that we all take as truths that are technically a theory, that we explain, phenomenon from. So, how do you progress if all you can teach is what's available now or before? Like, I just don't see how they can think that America. Well, I do see. They're not planning on America prospering. No. They're planning on themselves prospering.
Just the wealthy.
Excuse me.
They want to privatize education.
Yep. Therefore, only their children get educated.
Public.
Yeah, and that's another thing. When it comes to education, like Ron DeSantis saying what should be taught in schools, and this shouldn't be taught, and that. You better believe his kids are being taught all of that shit, because his kids are going to be elitists, and like actual elitists. Like, I don't see, if I'm technically an elitist, I sure wish I got paid like one, because I get paid jack shit compared to what they think I am. You know what I mean? Like,
it's because you haven't picked your Soros check up.
Finally, when the time comes, we will be able to invest in computers that don't blow the sound out when we're trying to do a show. When we finally get those Soros bucks, it'll be really, really great.
Well, what you all need to do is go down to your post box, show them your ID, and they will go to your post box and they will take all those Soros checks you haven't picked up and hand them over. You'll be swimming in it.
Sweet.
Oh, there's a stack of them.
Swimming in it.
Go to get me a new car.
I'm gonna get me a cement pond.
Cement pond.
You're gonna get an actual library that looks like my background instead of just a picture that pretending is work.
That's right. The Mighty Librarian's Library. Yep. Actual library.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you're wealthy and you don't have a library that A, has a ladder, and B, has a secret passage, you're not doing wealthy right.
You might need to import a Victorian ghost while you're at it.
And I'll do it better.
Right?
Well, if you need the Victorian ghost, you talk to me. I know a guy.
Ooh, ooh.
Actually, I'm kind of thinking that Trump's possessed by one and he's just come back to haunt us all.
Oh,
It's just
no.
someone coming to ruin our life.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
he is.
I was thinking
Yeah.
of what
Correct.
He is.
I was thinking what Allison was
A
saying,
diamond.
and it's almost like there was a generation that went and they fought fascism in Europe, and then when they came back and they were, you know, they had families and provided for everybody, and as their kids grew up, they're like, okay, check it out, you can do anything you want, but no Nazis, okay? Just like no Nazis, okay? Like, let's just, and then the 70s came because there was economic problems, and therefore there's going to be the rise of the Nazis again. And once more, the parents were like, just anything but be Nazis. And then Blues Brothers came out, and Blues Brothers was probably the biggest movie of that time. You know, it had the talent, the music, it had everything, and it clowned the Nazis, and it took their power away.
It was woke.
Well, yeah, I mean, that movie is like the wokest. That's probably why it's my favorite. Anyway, yeah, suck it, Nazis, right
They
there.
also don't
Anyway,
don't
so
they also do a great job of clowning themselves these days?
well, but there was this an understanding that if you mock the fash, you're going to take away their power, and that was because, you know, they still had the lessons that, you know, our grandparents had to learn when it came to, because after the war was over, I mean, there was so much studies done on how Germany got in the situation that it was in, and, you know, most of it was just due to them not clowning the Nazis when they needed to, before they got too big. And, you know, once they get big enough and they can
just go away.
Right. They're just like, oh, they're buffoons, they'll never get power. But we've
Kind of like what we did.
we have to actively clown these people. And Britain is learning this too, because, like, you know, they're any moment that they can get where they're like, you know, they see Nigel Farage, they're like, hey, let's get a photo. And he comes up and they're like, I'd just like to introduce you to Britain's biggest wank stain. Like, that's the thing is
he's up against some stiff competition.
Well,
that's great.
It's almost
I
like,
think it's kind of like what they do to UFO observers, how they discredit them so that everybody can sleep well at night. Because if that shit was true, nobody would be able to sleep. Yeah, so if you take away their power, I got it started.
Yeah, UFOs can't be real because the Earth is flat. Come on.
Right.
Come on.
On the turtleback too. I don't really understand where the turtle comes from. But some believe we're on the turtle's back. I think it goes back to a Native American.
Yeah, it's a Native American folklore.
I mean,
I'm
okay with that.
A literal one, but
we've had dads for Trump. Sorry, dads for Harris. We've had white dudes for Harris. We've had all these other groups of people for Harris.
White women, black women.
Yeah, we need clowns for Harris too, so that every time there's a Patriot Front rally and those guys are walking down the street with their balaclavas on and the riot shields, there's a big army of circus clowns following behind them, playing music and banging drums.
That's brilliant.
Totally.
Yeah, that's what we need.
The answer.
Clowns for Harris. Yep.
Brilliant.
Clowns.
I'm gonna do.
Have them playing yakety yak.
Yeah. If we can just get yakety sax on loop for like 4 hours.
Honk, honk, honk.
But anybody that's watching this program,
down in Florida.
anyone that's watching this program, I'd like you to do us a favor. If you happen to be somewhere where Patriot Front or Proud Boys or any of this trash are marching and they want to cover their face because they're oh so proud of who they are, but yet refuse to disclose their identity, well, not only should you march beside them and mock them the whole time, but also film the plates of the vehicles that they get into. Let's smash the fash,
scars,
gang.
marks, and tattoos.
Yep.
Can I go into my next topic that is kind of related, but it's kind of mocking the fash
By all means.
a little bit.
By all means.
But continuing what we're all talking about will not be off topic really either. So I discovered this little morsel gem of Click Orlando, local news of Florida, and it has a strange Florida section. So
Strange Florida. Okay.
The whole state is strange.
Yeah.
All right. So yesterday,
If there's bad news, it's always like California, Arizona, or Florida.
no, this is kind of funny news. Yesterday, August 29th, published at 5 a.m. Hitler's yacht lies abandoned off the coast of this Florida city. Here's where to find it. So apparently, for the 1938 Olympics, Hitler had a racing yacht commissioned, but unfortunately, or fortunately, it wasn't completed in time. And his plan was to, and I'm reading this now, according to historian Mike Miller, Hitler's plan was to ride the yacht into England after Germany's victory, where he would accept Winston Churchill's surrender aboard the boat. However, history had different plans, as we know. And after Germany's defeat, the U.S. reportedly took control of the Ostwind, I guess was the name of the boat, which was used as a training craft at the U.S. Naval Academy before it was being sold to a Nazi memorabilia collector in the 1970s, the Ocala Star-Banner reports.
So
then the
that's
collectors...
the yacht that Harlan Crow has. Okay.
So you're saying they found the
Oh, shoot,
location for this summer's MAGA booze cruise, right?
Well, no, there's a little bit more on the boat's history. That collector took the yacht to Jacksonville for repairs, but it was ultimately abandoned, and then a marina owner took possession of it. Despite offers from a Nazi group to buy the yacht and turn it into a shrine, the marina owner ultimately reached out to Miami Beach officials about using the Ostwind as an artificial reef. And so now apparently it's sunken 275 feet off of the coast of Florida.
That's a good start.
That's good. If
Good
MAGA
stuff.
wants to visit it, they can learn to fucking scuba dive.
Well, no, let's hope they don't have tanks.
Yeah, let's not
Well,
talk
they're-
about the air tanks. Just take a
Yeah,
good deep breath in, and while you're in the water, good deep breath in,
I
it'll be
can,
fine.
I can build them a submarine if they want to see it.
Yeah,
Well,
just
now-
tell them the ballot are at the Titanic.
I've
Yeah,
got
we'll
some,
just
like,
get them-
video game
we'll them the
controllers
same
and stuff.
submarine with the PlayStation controller.
One other fantastic headline
nuts.
from Strange Florida. Florida man accused of stealing over 120 gallons of cooking oil from a restaurant. The restaurant was
Fuck.
Beef O'Brady's. Why? Florida, why do you do this?
Drugs.
Man
Oil.
must have needed some oil.
So Strange Florida people, like some comic relief, but it's not really comic relief.
Heat,
Strange
humidity, and meth are a bad
I
combination.
think you guys are onto something. I think there's enough crazy shit going on in Florida every week to make that a regular segment. I think you're right, librarian. That's
You're
brilliant.
not wrong. You're not
What's
wrong.
happening in
Well, you know,
Florida?
Jimmy Kimmel has a regular segment called This Week in Florida. It's not really
Yeah.
consistent segment. Like sometimes it's a couple times a week, sometimes he'll go a couple of weeks without doing one. But he does like yeah, this week in we can do a This Week in Florida as part of Jive Bar. I'll find something.
Do you know why?
This
Do
week,
you know
this
why
week in the
you
South,
hear?
or this week in Magaland, there's all sorts of
But
possibilities.
Do you know there's an actual reason why you hear about all the crazy shit in Florida?
The sunshine laws. Yeah.
Exactly. They have daylight basically daylight laws on all their police reports. So everything that gets reported overnight is free for
And we
journalists to
thank
pick
them
over
for it.
the next morning.
And
Oh yeah, we thank them for it.
But Ron DeSantis's stuff does not get published because the law was amended.
No.
Of course. Well, in that
your
case,
leader law.
I have a fresh today in MAGA. A man, when Trump was at his Pennsylvania rally today, Trump started attacking the fake media and the fake news like he always does. And this man decided he wanted to go charge the media section of the rally, and the police got him fairly quickly before he even jumped the fence, and they tased him. So good for him.
I love tasing MAGA.
That's not stochastic terror at all.
They go down like that. It's beautiful.
I can't wait till it's on a t-shirt, right?
Don't tase me, bro.
All I got was a lousy taser.
Yep, say that
Taser.
again.
Fake taser, fake voltage. No.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
He said it was this size. It was actually just this size.
The volts running through your body are fake news.
That's right.
I did everything right, and they tased me.
It could be that. Yeah.
They tased me. It was horrible.
You've never seen tasing the likes of this ever
life.
before?
No one's ever seen.
No one's ever gonna know.
Ask anyone.
I wonder if he'll try to sue when his pubes don't grow back.
Erica,
can I give you another strange? Can I give one more headline? One more headline, and then I'll stop. Man dies hiding drugs in mouth outside Florida drug house deputies. They're so stupid. That's not a good idea. Not a good idea.
And if you want more of these, you can go to Reddit/Florida Man.
Oh well,
yeah, I think Farmley dropped it in the chat.
Is DarwinAwards.com still going?
I was looking at clickorlando.com under their Strange Florida section.
Shuby in the chat says, I took a taser for democracy.
I was tased for you.
It was a perfect tasing.
No charge. At no charge.
Sidebar note, Allison, is there a normal Florida subsection?
Yeah, because it's an actual news website, News
right.
Channel 6. But yeah, I thank them for their Strange Florida link or their page that they have. It's beautiful. It's gonna be entertainment for me all night. Like I'm just scrolling. I've been scrolling it since 3:00 this afternoon when I discovered it. So I didn't really know what topics I was gonna talk about. So I'm just like, searching things and at one point I was like, okay, what do I talk about? And so I just put in MAGA, and these gems showed themselves to me in my search results, and I thank them.
They present themselves because they do.
Because they really do. Cocaine sharks apparently all along Florida's coast.
Nice.
Cocaine bear
yeah.
too.
Now
Cocaine shark.
Cocaine
The memes
sharks,
write
cocaine
themselves.
bears,
Cocaine battery.
junior.
Can you eat a wild python in Florida? It's probably not a good idea. Actual headline.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Imagine the cocaine-fueled Sharknadoes.
Oh, right. You're gonna see me if y'all are in smoking room or wherever, I'm gonna be like, hey, check out this one 3 hours later. Oh God.
They really are. Special. Like, there's high heat and humidity a lot of the time.
Yeah, but I live in a
People go
high
crazy.
heat humidity area, and we're a blue area. There's got to be something a little bit special of, Florida too. Like there's got to be, and I get their sunshine laws, but I you got to believe that there's something weird about that.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
we have the same up in the north of Australia. We have like in the north of Queensland and the north of Northern Territory. We have a couple of cities where basically that sort of that Florida type behavior is the norm.
I have to believe every country has their Florida.
Oh yeah,
They do. They do.
we've got Florida. We've got a Florida.
Garrick in the
Betty,
chat.
if you're listening, tell me what Germany's Florida is.
It's East Germany.
Brilliant.
What about the UK? What's England, Scotland, Ireland's Florida?
I think I come from there.
If I had to
don't
say
think
the Florida of Scotland would be Paisley.
Paisley? Yeah, well, it could be. But I would say if that's true, come to Greenock and get your eyes opened.
John, I'd actually say you're probably more likely to say Ireland would be the Florida, so much so that they detached it and pushed it aside, just over there a little bit.
It's something. Yep, you're right.
We know enough Irishmen between us to know that that's true.
Yep. Everybody thinks that the guy called Groin is actually a joke. It's not. It's a real person's name.
Yeah.
Groin?
Pat McGroin.
One for later. Groin.
Pat McGroin.
I gotta go laugh when I
Fucking
say
kiss.
Hey Tony, how we doing out there in the chat, buddy?
Everyone's hanging out, laughing, making Florida man jokes.
Pretty much.
Do we need another headline?
Sure.
Tased
Why
and
not?
confused.
Yeah.
Dazed and confused.
That line I said is from
Where was that when we needed it? That would have been the bumper.
I said it. I just put it in the chat.
Wait, I got it. Florida boy hopes to win mullet competition. Here's why. It's more than just a haircut.
It's a lifestyle.
It's
You want to know why?
It's what? It's a lifestyle.
A lot of
Hold on, I gotta
swingers
read it.
have mullets. A lot of swingers.
Okay.
Serious business.
Okay,
requires
Eight-year-old Jack Kuhn, I can't pronounce that, of Ocala is turning heads with his mullet. But for him, it's more than just a haircut. The boy said, people... Oh no, why did you go away? The boy said, people comment on his mullet every single day. Jack has been growing his mullet for over 3 years, inspired by his dad. However, several months ago, while still in second grade, Jack had to undergo brain surgery. Oh, and this is actually I think this is a slow story. He needed surgery to relieve the pressure, and they only took a small piece of his hair off. He was able to grow it back in time for the competition. With his mullet intact, Jack entered the Mullet Champ competition, which benefits the Jared Allen for Wounded Warriors Foundation. He made it to third place to the third round of voting.
Hell
Is
yeah!
that
And you
the same,
Kentucky
like,
waterfall.
I'll hang my head in shame.
Is that the same place where they do jean jacket contests?
Yeah.
It's Joe Dirt's home state.
I feel bad. I'm sorry I made fun of it. But you know, that's
I'm sorry, but the
like
words mullet
fundraising.
competition are going to instantly give you an idea in your head. Yeah, and it's in Florida, and the fact that it ended up being a heartwarming story.
Like,
That's
I wasn't
nice.
wrong in thinking it would. It's
I
heartwarming.
still want the
But
picture.
why would that be under Strange Florida? That's cute. That's lovely. Like,
Because it's a
Because
mullet
MAGA considers
competition.
anything that has to do
Thank
with
you, that's
empathy
why.
weird.
Mullet.
Be a victory photo.
fair enough. Sorry, kid. I
They
made fun
have
of you.
that
I
in
didn't mean to.
Canada. Canada has mullet contests too. Is that a thing?
Maybe.
Mullets
I
get
mean,
around,
I hope.
but Florida mullets, or just Florida.
I saw
man
mullets in Spain when I was in Canary Islands. They had mullets.
Mullets weren't cool when mullets were cool.
Unless you're European. European mullets are just like
I went to college with a guy named the Mullet King. We nicknamed him the
Nice.
Mullet King. because he had
How
a
did we get
huge,
here?
huge mullet.
I think this is
I have a
great.
Isn't that
picture. I
pronounced
have a
Malay?
picture. I have a picture
We
somewhere
might
of
be
the mullet
racially
king.
slurring a whole group of people, guys, unintentionally. Just so you know.
It's a mullet. They know what they're doing.
Oh,
You know you
mullets are universal.
You know what you did.
Mullets are, mullets are mullets. If I offended somebody, I'm sorry.
No, I'm
It's
just
an
thinking
easy
that I
haircut,
wonder
man.
if, like, since you made such supportive comments of European hairstyles, maybe it's like one of those protected trademarks, the
Right.
European mullet.
Le mullet.
You lay.
Exactly.
You lay French.
Didn't see any of those at the Olympic
Wesley
opening
Willis made a
ceremony.
song about cutting your mullet.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
a song
he did.
called "Cut Your Mullet." They gave a patient in a mental institution a Casio keyboard and recorded him, and he made a song called "Cut Your Mullet." And really, that's the main.
Now I want
lyrics.
to see this.
Rachel and I are probably the biggest Wesley Willis fans in this chat. We're gonna go ahead and leave that there.
No, I
butted me.
I am like.
Are you a
I
Wesley
have
Willis
them on
fan
my
too?
playlist.
Yes.
Yes, that's how I know about him.
Let's leave some love in the chat for Wesley Willis.
I know.
Absolutely.
Rock on, Chicago.
We might be spinning Wesley Willis tunes in the smoking lounge after the show. You never know.
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Oh, we're going. And I'm making chorizo.
Oh, I want some
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, turn it off because they probably can't hear it.
No, it's not doing very well.
Did we
Is there
lose
any
Skip?
questions from the chat?
There he is.
Any questions, guys?
No, we can't go to a Wesley Willis concert. Unfortunately, he passed away.
It's hard to see.
Articles they're fighting.
It's hard to see which one are questions when no one uses punctuation anymore.
True.
Right? We had one earlier from Triple. What do we think about the so-called voter purge in Texas? Is it bullshit to get the maggots worked up about?
It's fucked up.
voting?
It's fucked up of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a constant thing. They always want to push as many
you just
votes
gotta be
out.
vigilant.
The only
possible.
way they can win any elections is by voter tampering.
Well, luckily, we
Yeah,
have.
they know they
Marcelo.
can't win it, honestly. Yep.
And then it
But
goes
also
into
we
the
have
thing of
we have plenty of. So I was going to say we have plenty of common aligned voices on the left to get the message out about voter registration and checking your voter registration and making sure you're registered, because we've crossed that threshold line where 90 days before the election they can't remove you from a role once registered.
There's a
So
website for vote.org, and you can go to vote.org/am I registered to vote, and you can check to see if you've been purged or not.
Yeah.
Just because our
We need to
polls
have
are
massive
kicking,
turnout, guys.
Exactly. Just because our polls are kicking doesn't mean we need to be getting complacent.
No,
They rely on people's complacency and ignorance of their registration and their own assumptions that they're registered, and that's what they prey on.
Yeah.
And there's enough.
It's they rated people with LULAC. Now they're going after the Hispanic people, going after registering people.
Yep. That's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's them up and down.
Yeah, they had an actual raid.
Something about it in real time.
Well, in my opinion, I think that raid was just practice for if they get in for the Project 2025 mass deportation raids.
Yep.
On the Stop Project 2025 LibGuides are what librarians make. That's kind of like what a link tree is, but the link tree, I've been putting voter registration links for the states. I've gotten most of the swing states that are really truly considered. I think I still have to put up Florida. I'm going to try to get a lot more up there, but I'm one person, so bear with me. But the swing states are up there, excluding Florida. And I've been trying to put news links with the voter registration stuff as motivators to make sure you're checking your registration, because they're doing shady shit everywhere. Even in states you think are safe, like Wisconsin, they did some shady shit. So in Pennsylvania, they have the more GOP double the amount of new registrants for the GOP than Democrat. So make sure you're registered.
Yes.
I just did. I just went to that website and I'm registered.
Hells yeah.
Yeah, Leah said she's going to help
Oh, yeah.
you, Allison. She's got some data for you.
It's really just getting the link on there. Like, it's not hard. It's just there's 50 states. And I've only done I think 9 or 10. Well, I guess that's, I'm making progress. I don't know the maths on that, but
You need an assistant librarian.
Yep.
If you're not it.
Well, my librarian said she'd help you out, mighty librarian.
because she's my librarian too.
The mightiest of librarians.
She's my librarian.
Better than my pillow.
Oh my gosh, our forces combined. Like, what would happen? Like, if I don't even want to think about immediately combining forces.
It would be a new Pokemon.
It would.
It would be.
We got to contact someone about that.
Make it so.
I don't even know. I bet my daughter knows. My daughter knows.
Well, are there any other questions in the chat?
Nice. I don't see any here.
No, we're pretty good today. We're all just hanging
I'm
around
all
today.
squirrely. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so squirrely.
I'm still just laughing about the absolute contrast of Tim Walz and JD Vance, whether it's from the Runza shop to the donut shop, or from Walz getting a standing ovation when he comes out to the firefighters union, to the next day JD Vance is getting booed. I'm living for this shit, because that debate.
Firefight for the same,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to the Harris-Trump debate, but I cannot wait. They're both veterans, and one outranks the other one by years. And that veteran,
2 decades.
JD Vance served as much time. Actually, I served more time than JD Vance, chat. I just want you to know that. So he's going to.
Come on, he did like a year, less than a year.
He did his typical turn. He did his typical tour, 4 years, and
apparently it was 4.
Right, and Tim Walz is like, well, I have socks that were issued to me from the Guard that are older than your service, so it's going to be a very interesting debate when he's going to be like, I outrank you, but still you try to disparage my service, son.
They're still
sit
trying
down.
to do that.
And he's been cool about it. He's been calm about it. He's been casual about it, because it's his job to ensure that Vice President Harris has an extremely professional and sound running mate. But I think the moment that debate stage opens up, that he's gonna jump down JD's asshole, set up a kiddie pool, and have a lemonade.
But he might like that, so he probably shouldn't.
He's gonna eat his MAGA ass like it's corn on the cob.
And he'll like that too.
Yeah. He's a much bigger man in every way.
It feels like this big, good versus evil thing going on right now. And like I said before, I'm not a Democrat, but I'm definitely going to vote for one, because that's like the best decision there is right now. Otherwise, they want to dismantle the entire Constitution in our nation and rename it. It's crazy. Like, when did our life become Star Wars?
They want to break America, and they don't.
When they voted Donald Trump in.
People realize.
Yeah, they're just trying to destroy it.
Yeah.
We're not going
I
back.
heard. I don't know if this. I did not fact check this, and I made a joke about it. But you can bet on if Trump will say the hard R during the debate.
Yeah, you can
Not
bet on
only
anything.
if, but when.
I need to go make some bets.
You can bet on
There's an
anything.
over-under.
I'm
Anything.
going to the casino right now.
Yeah.
I've also heard that not only can if, but like when he says it. So like, you know, like kind of like how many points the team will win by. Like it's, like, you know, Trump
What's
says
the
it,
over-under?
15 minutes in. Like
Did you hit the points?
I got by the election.
You know, I would
not
say
shock
that
me.
over-under is the same as the Oasis reunion getting in a fist fight.
Yeah.
How many? Bet on how many songs they play before they start beating the shit out of each other.
One.
No, I'll give you
Really?
four.
I thought two, maybe two.
With the champagne
No,
supernova and the...
Fuck
Yeah.
you!
You fucking wanker.
I just want to point out how batshit crazy the rallies are now, and he is rambling, but now he has to mention that he's rambling. That it's not rambling. This is just the way I talk. Like that's
Then he talks in
defense
circles.
now.
Just like...
I'm waiting not just for the N word, but when he says something like
immigrant people are stealing your job. I just know that
And the we're not weird sign.
Yeah, we're not weird. That is good.
That was the thing I was going to say. Is if you
have to
watch
say
that town hall he did with Tulsi, how many did you hear him say? And they keep saying that we're weird, and JD's not weird, and I'm not weird. My wife says I'm not weird, dude. They cannot handle that shit. Like we have
They
we have
cannot
put
handle
a
being called
hole
weird.
in the hole.
Who would have thought?
Dude,
Who
that shit's
would have
weird.
thought? I
had
never would
somebody
have guessed
today-
weird would be what made them melt down. Not on my
we should
bingo
all-
I
card.
know.
We
It's
should
a
also
weird
think
thing.
about. We should think about what
was the
Sun
same
Tzu said
interview.
for the Chinese military. He said, "Know the enemy and know yourself. In 100 battles, you will never be defeated."
It's true.
Sound advice.
That was the
Sound
same
advice.
interview where Tulsi Gabbard told about her struggles to have a kid and using fertility treatments.
Oh my
And he
god.
responded with this long, rambling diatribe that in no way addresses anything she said.
And now he's promising
he
that the
promise
government
free-
will pay
Yeah,
for. Yeah,
right.
yeah, exactly.
And now
Guys,
pro-life
we just-
groups,
Bonkers.
pro-life
Can we
groups
just
are
make the
pissed off.
Yeah,
hashtag?
lesbians unite. Line up and get free IVF.
I just
now
know.
pro-life groups are pissed off because JD Vance said he would veto any abortion ban.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, in
Yeah,
every way,
okay.
they're turning against their own base to get to try to appear more moderate, including stepping away from Project 2025. They're literally the 4chaners that got them elected in 2016. They're turning their back on them, and it's really a hyena
They are.
and scar situation. And I'm really fucking here for it. Like.
Yes.
Yeah.
They tried really hard to go this way, and now they realize that they're just trying to reclaim this,
Well,
and it doesn't work.
And Elizabeth
These
Warren.
two things are mutually exclusive.
Elizabeth Warren said it best. Women are not stupid.
No.
Oh, no.
No, they're not. No, I can't wait till women are in
And I
control.
understand the assignment.
And I do want to just let you know, anybody who's listening to this, whether you may be of any sort of gender and you're worried about whether it's your family or your partner finding out who you voted for, that shit is confidential. Make sure you make your voice heard.
Yes.
Yeah,
Feel
because
You
free.
cannot find
Melania
out.
really needs to know that when she votes Harris this time around.
Ladies,
she will.
feel free leave post-it notes on the
No, but-
backs of toilet paper dispensers in the ladies' room that remind that
Yep.
your
Tell
husband
your
does not
friends.
need to know how you vote.
Mm-hmm.
You can lie.
Yeah, you can
Lie.
lie.
You can lie like a motherfucker.
They
Again,
lie.
they-
Everybody lies, right? Oh no, that was perfect. That was exactly what I wanted. If they can lie about that, they can lie about who they voted for.
Yep.
again, the question this
And
year is
if you feel like you can't lie, I got wonderful ways of spinning, like crafting wording that isn't a lie. It's not exactly the truth either.
Yep.
Hell,
It's
Look at
funny when you know all those people on not a drag queen hashtag not a drag queen get found out to be who they are. Instantly they all of a sudden understand pronouns. They're like, you know, they called me over. I don't know who they were. Magical how that works. Well, alrighty, gang. If
Yep.
there's no other questions, would wrap it up for episode 20 of Dive Bar of
Holy moly.
Democracy.
Friends.
Wow.
We are up to
Whoa.
episode
Wow, guys.
20. That's right.
So next week's the
In another
21st.
month, and we'll have as many episodes as Tim
Right.
Wallace had years in service. Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe I will get. Maybe you guys will get up in numbers, like the way that the Machine Room podcast. We just did episode 157. I hope you guys
Nice.
get up there too.
Exactly. Before
Awesome.
we signed out of here, I wanted to make sure that y'all check
Rachel,
out the
put
Machine
your
Room
link in the chat.
podcast
I'll send somebody over
because
there too.
our guest, the lovely Hammer of Venus, and the podcast that she helped co-host, just God, if you like laughing, go listen to it. It's the Machine Room podcast. And if you give a good goddamn about your democracy, make sure that you listen to Tony Michael's podcast every single day. And we will see you crazy kids later.
Oh, cool.
Later,
Bye,
skater.
friends.
Later, gang. Hey.